Hi, I'm gonna try to film from a better angle this time because last time I looked atrocious and who knows, I probably still do, but who gives a crap. Anyway, I have been very depressed the past 2 days and I've come to terms with that. I probably have some form of depression. Basically, I just want to cry all the time, and in my everyday life I spend the whole day trying to make a joke of it, trying to laugh it off, and I always say to people, when I'm sharing some of my feelings with them and my experiences, I tell them, oh, like, it's okay, just, at this point I just have to laugh about it because the only other option is crying. And I say that with a smile on my face, and I laugh about it, but at the end of the day, it's very sad what's happening here. Basically, the other day, I may or may not have posted other stuff about this, I'm not sure yet. I made that video, the one about my general thoughts. I know it's really long and maybe nobody will have watched it, but basically I just recorded some of my thoughts, and then literally within hours I was devastated and in tears. Basically what happened is, I've already decided I'm moving out, and I feel like that should have been kind of anticipated. Like, our lease went till January 1st, and anytime after that we're free to go anytime, and I just don't see how anything about this environment screams, yeah, let's just live here for another 6 to 8 months, We kind of finally got it into our heads that it's why would we stay here? And I explained a bit of that in the last video, like, why would we pay so much money to live in a place where we are treated so badly and made to feel so anxious even in our own homes. So that's the decision that's been made. Now, basically, I'll tell you exactly what happened. I obviously didn't record any of it. I didn't anticipate this happening, but here's what happened when she got home right after I made that video. So she came home and immediately told me, you have to get your car out of the garage. Or no, she parked behind the garage, so I said, I need you to move your car because I need to get out of the garage, which is where I've been parking all winter because she had the garage last winter. So I just said, I need you to move your car, and she goes, okay, and you can leave the garage door open because I'm going to be parking in there from now on. And I said, okay, like, whatever, like, honestly, to me it's not a big issue. I'm not planning on living here that much longer. Like, you can have the garage if that's what you feel you need, okay? So I'm like, whatever. Left the house. I was going to look at an apartment, and she goes, before I left, she's going on about, after she said, get your car out of the garage and I'm gonna park in there, she goes, because I like how nobody bothered to shovel my side of the driveway. And I'm like, our driveway's pretty decently big. I shoveled it and it was raining when I did that. Like, it was not a pleasant experience, and the way I'm treated around here, like, do I really need to do you any more favors? I've already feel like I've done enough. So whatever, it's like just a petty issue of shoveling the driveway. So I went about my time, went out and looked at an apartment that I was thinking of applying to. And then I came home in between going to that one and going to another one, and I just felt an urge as I was driving back home that I needed to confront her. Like, why should I just continue to be spoken to in that way? And the way that she just talks to me and called me and my husband lazy, and it's like, like, we work full-time, or he works full-time, I work part-time and go to school. It's like we don't have a ton of time, and who cares who shoveled the driveway? She was going on about how he's lazy and why didn't he shovel it. I'm thinking, because he's been at work since 9 a.m. and I've been home all day, so I shoveled at noon when the snow kind of stopped coming down and it started turning into rain. Like, why is this an issue? So whatever, I just said, why do you always have to make everything into an argument? That's the first thing I said when I got home. So I'm still standing outside. She's sitting on the deck smoking. And we didn't really argue. It was more just like a bit of back and forth. And at one point I believe I said, do you think I wouldn't want to have a good relationship with my mother? And then she said straight to my face that I don't have a daughter. Like full out, in my opinion, like that. She just full out disowned me straight to my face, clear as day. And that obviously broke me. So I said, all right, well, I'll get out of here then. Like, I'll move out. She goes, good, when can you move out? And I said, I don't know, how about March 1st? And she goes, that long? I have to live with you that much longer? Can't you be out sooner? And I said, okay, February 1st then, I'll be out in a week. And she goes, good. I got lots of people ready, lined up to come move in here, all this and that about how she's got it all covered, it's all good. So obviously after that I went inside, bawled my eyes out, called my husband because, you know, I'm very emotionally unstable. I need the support of the people around me that care about me in my life. And I'm not ashamed to admit that, you know, like I'm going through a very difficult situation. Like my mom came home after 5 days and within an hour or two disowned me, told me that I was not her daughter, that she was not my mother anymore. Like, that's, like, you know, I spent 5 days so happy without her around. It felt like the energy was so different. I wasn't anxious, wasn't sad, and obviously that was like a 5-day trial of when I move out, I'm gonna have a much better, you know, mental health overall and feel a lot better. So that's what I need to do. So then after that, she 5 minutes later came up to my room and goes, can I talk to you for 5 minutes? And I said, like, obviously I'm fucking hurt. Like, she just disowned me 5 minutes ago. So I told her, just get the fuck out of my room, get out of my room. Like, I just was trying to get her out of my face. And she goes, I really need to talk to you for 5 minutes. And I'm like, so what is it? Are you dying of cancer or are you dying from liver failure? Which one is it? Because those are the only two things that are important enough for you to need to tell me after what you just said to me. And then I agreed to go downstairs, brought my camera with me, so I don't know if that clip has been uploaded or not. I'm not sure if I'm planning on uploading that. Basically, I just put my camera down and recorded it because I'm tired of being talked to in such a way and not having any footage to defend myself, to say this is a live video camera footage of how I'm spoken to, because a lot of this stuff is, she, you know, will make me into the bad person, and I don't think that that's the case. I really don't think that I'm the bad person in every scenario. I think that after a certain amount of time, when I say you, I'm talking about Christine, when you think that you're correct, and then you refuse, like I've tried to give her my opinion, my point of view, when you absolutely refuse to hear any other person's perspective, then obviously in your mind you are correct, right? If you don't hear the other person's side, you're correct every single time. So every single time she never ever ever has let me speak my mind or ever say anything about, well, this is how I feel, you know? And never once has that ever happened in this whole year. So from the beginning of the year, every little thing that maybe was something that she didn't like, she's been right, she's been right, she's been right. And obviously, what does that mean? I've been wrong, I'm a horrible person. And it's built up to the point that she feels that I'm horrible and there's nothing I can do about it because she's refused to hear my point of view. So I recorded that conversation, and I most likely will be, like, I haven't posted it yet, but like, well, I'm filming this, but by this point when you're watching this, it could very well be posted, because you know, I'm tired of getting spoken to that way. And that conversation, I didn't catch all of it on camera, but I got 17 minutes of how she was speaking to me, you know, in a moment when she, basically the point is, she told me that she went to a detox clinic, and I'm elated about that. Like, I'm over the moon that she's chosen to get sober. Like, that's the most I could ever ask from her. But as you will see, because now the more I talk about it, the more I'm sure I'm going to post it, as you can see, the entire thing was all about her and her journey, and how all her friends were helping her, and how I'm the only one that wasn't helping her. And all I can think of is, after years and years and years of living firsthand with a person who is battling addiction, that becomes your burden. Like, she acts like this is her journey, this is my journey, like as if I haven't been there next to her in all of this time, you know? Like, I have been a child up until the past 3 years. Like, I was a minor under her custody, you know? Like, I've been there, I've seen, trust me, I've known about the addiction and witnessed it firsthand and had the traumatic experiences since I was 10 years old. And I am going to make another video probably right after this, or as soon as I can, about that too, because for her to say that this is her journey that she's been battling for years, and then the entire conversation make it as though I am the evil person in this situation, that all I've done was criticize her, judge her, like, you know, and she said something about like, why does it matter to you what time I go to bed? Well, because think about this. I'm here witnessing this every single day. Okay, she was going to bed at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I don't have a problem with that. But then it became, I'd wake up in the morning to go to my placement, and this person would walk in from the garage at 6 a.m. and slurring her speech and like clearly drunk. And do you think that's not a little disturbing? Like, to me, that is just another thing to add to the list of all the trauma I've witnessed. Like, why, when I'm waking up in the morning to start my day to go through a 12-hour shift at the hospital, am I being greeted in the morning by someone who is slurring their words and clearly visibly drunk? Like, that's why, you know, when I say, oh, you think you're gonna go to bed earlier, like, that's, maybe it sounds like I'm criticizing her when I say like, oh, you're staying up so late, but it's me expressing concern, because every day, seeing, like, even on normal days, it's at the point where I was seeing her stagger in drunk from the garage at like 9 a.m. And yes, that's, like, you know, I'm gonna mention that because that's, like, I know I'm maybe not going about it in the perfect way, but that's my way of saying, you know, like, I'm noticing that you're spending more and more time drinking, and, you know, maybe try to get a better sleeping habit, and then that will kind of discourage you from staying up drinking all night. Like, it doesn't matter. That's just one example of things that, you know, she's never heard my perspective. She just thinks, you tell me, like, why does it matter to you how late I stay up or what I do with my life? It's because it's my life too. I've been your child, and obviously at this point I'm 21 years old, and when I was 20 last year, I made this conscious decision to try to help my mother because I wanted to try to help her one more time. I thought, this is it. Like, I'm gonna live with her for a year and try to support her and try to help her get better. And obviously, you know, after many, many little things happening and her thinking I'm a worse and worse and worse person every time, there's not going to be any room left for me to be your support person. So, what's my point? I don't know.